Hi, Marion and Betska. Today we are talking about our intuitions and our inner voice. Whenever we are working in our corporate culture, our home work, like our office job, our house related work, our relationship, what is the important role about our intuitions or our inner voice? Because I think this will play major role in our life, either our office work and either our household job. So I want your insight on this topic. So let's
Mm,
start with Marion.
mhm, mhm. Thank you, Raj. It's it's such a great topic, and I know we talked last time about how we or how you utilize your intuition when you're recruiting, but the example that comes to my mind is, and you brought it up. It's whether it's in your personal life or it is in your business life, you can really always trust your intuition when you know how to tap into that, because there have been a number of times when whether I had somebody like that I hired for anything, related to the house or the family, but also in the corporate world. And when you start really tapping into your intuition, you're making such better decisions. And at some point, it comes really natural. So I think that the part that I'd love to dive deeper today is the corporate environment, because now you have recruited employees, or you're coming in new into a role and you have an existing team, and really intuitively understand how does it all flow, how does it all come together. So me personally, I like to come in and with my intuition tap into the dynamics, the energy of the team, the energy of the people, and really assessing and feeling what what is going on there. And sometimes you can notice, I don't know if you've ever had that experience, you come in and it all sounds great, but you come in and you just feel that there is something going on. And so it's whether it is of like, how can we make things better? How can we create an environment where maybe not even much has changed? We're just making little tweaks, or we are realigning responsibilities. But a lot of that decision making for me at this point comes out of my intuition. And that means, and we talked about that again last time, that means me really tapping into my feeling and going beyond my conscious mind, my practical mind, also the noise of, oh, this person has a lot of experience in this department or in this company, or or they have little experience. I've seen it over and over again that sometimes when I followed my intuition against all odds, what somebody else said, it's like, oh no, you shouldn't hire this person, or no, he doesn't have enough experience, or oh no, she or he is not the right person for this job, even when they're already hired in the team. But I feel that there is something there, and they're coachable, and you're leading with intuition. That is where you can really make sometimes little tweaks, and things are moving so much better. And that's also the part where I found that intuition is linked with the intention. Like, you intuitively know where your intention should be, where your focus should be. So you're not just creating to the noise, you're not just creating to more and more and faster and faster. And that is happening in so many companies. It's like, oh, we have so many ideas, where there's so many opportunities, let's run, run, run. We talked about that in one of our shows too. But be intuitive and intentional. It almost goes hand in hand. And you'll notice that actually it's
Mm,
less effort in actually achieving better results. And
mhm.
that's been my experience. Betska, I'd love to hear your coaching so many business leaders. What's your
Mhm.
experience?
Well, I want to start by talking about what happens in our business schools. You know, we get our folks coming out of high school and then they go and get their MBA or some kind of a business degree. And those schools focus on the analytical, the left brain stuff, like how do you create a profit and loss statement? How do you read it? You know, blah, 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 all those technical aspects of a business. And very often they forget about that people side and that intuitive side. Like, how do you teach someone to be intuitive? How do you do that? And so as a result, it's difficult to teach. So that's why they rarely teach it. And my suggestion here is that with that intention that you mentioned, Marion, that the leaders have the intention to put their people first. It's not about the leader's ego, right? Or the next promotion the leader wants to get, because again, the number one job of a leader is to create more leaders. So how are you going to do that? And so if they put their people first, that means that they're leading with some heart, they're leading with some feeling. And so this is what I'm just thinking about some of the latest leaders who've come in for executive coaching, and one of them had his heart completely shut down because of the way his boss was treating him. So his intuition flew the coop. You know, he doesn't know what to do in his job, or what to do for his next job, or his heart was shut down. So as leaders, we have to be incredibly careful. We have to really value our employees. And whether that employee is an arrogant SOB or whether they're a follower, right? Or whether they're very kind and compassionate, whoever they are, to really treat them with tender gloves, to really open the heart, to really help them. Because my knowing, after having done this for many, many years, that if you have an employee who's very arrogant, and some people will say, there's no way he's going to change. I said, yeah, of course he can change, but you have to give him the tools to change. You have to help him change at a subconscious level, because the subconscious drives our lives, right? We've heard that many times from this person here.
And sometimes, you know, it is simply because expectations haven't been clear, or you know, or other things have happened that really had nothing to do with, you know, anything that like this, their subconscious mind. It's just simply that you have an intuition about somebody, and that has happened to me many times, where somebody said, oh, he is not a great employee, or she's not a great employee, and I had an intuitive feeling that they had huge potential, and something went off somewhere. And sure enough, it was because they didn't felt appreciated, or they weren't clear on what their role was, or the expectations were unclear, or the priorities kept changing all the time. But I intuitively felt that they were a good person to have on the team, and they were thriving once they were clearer, and they were, you know, somewhat felt like they were valued and appreciated, and they were in the right spot in that organization. It was like a different person.
Yeah. So,
and isn't that what we want to bring out in people?
Yeah.
And you talked about being a leader and having more leaders, like developing more leaders. That should be our top priority. And so tapping into our intuition and believing in people, and intuitively making decisions, of course, also based on knowledge and skills. These other things we don't need to ignore, but bringing that into the decision making and into the leadership, I found is helping us make much better and much more effective decisions.
So I'm going to suggest to everyone listening here that leaders can learn to be intuitive. They can learn. And so, for example, we have a 12-week leadership reflection program where all they need to do is take 2 to 5 minutes every day to work on their intuition. And it's very powerful, because if if the leader has had a rough life and they've been abused by their boss and, so their intuition is shut down, well, we need to help them find it again. So I'm just saying to all of you out there, come and learn how to reconnect with your intuition. And do exercises every day that are going to further open your heart, because that's where the intuition lies. Intuition lives in the heart. So how do we daily work on opening our heart more and more? So thank you.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Can anybody out there hear me? Hear me?